I was 15, turning 16 in literally a day, when my sister was like, tomorrow, when you turn 16, you want to get a tattoo at my friend's house? And I go, sure, because I am literally the stupidest 15-year-old ever.
Sketchy.
Very sketchy.
ROTN, let me present to you the ROTN Podcast. The ROTN Podcast.
How do you want me to say it? Rotten.
Welcome back to ROTN Podcast, episode 6.
What is freaking up, you guys?
That is a classic Miss Tiffany Ma intro right there. For anyone who's been watching Tiffany on the internet, they know that that is a staple for her.
Yeah, I've been doing this for 7 years and I've kind of been known for it. I don't even know how it started. I just started saying what is freaking up and it's stuck, but a lot of people make fun of me for it. So I feel like slowly I've just stopped doing it as often, but I still do it once in a while and it just comes out so naturally. But I would never, ever say to someone in real life, what's up? Like, that's just not how I would speak at all, ever.
I always say bye.
Bye.
You know, you end. My mom says it too. When we say, like, when we hang up, she'll be like, bye. You know,
because of me?
Yeah, because she watches your videos, and that's how you end all of your videos as well. You're a smart content creator. You have memorable formats at the beginning and at the end. It's a testament to your
thank you.
Your ability to retain an audience.
You're being so nice to me. I just wanted to say today was such a fun day. We're really starting this podcast late. We don't have a bunch of time because Matt and I have been in bed since like 2 p.m. today because last night we threw our engagement party. People were still here at 3 a.m. and I was like, all right, I'm ready for bed. At like 1 a.m. I was like, I'm so ready, but I have to like stay up.
It was such a fun party. It was a banger. Honestly, one of the best parties I've ever been to.
Really?
100%. We'll get into that in a second. But by the way, I definitely was not in bed until 2 p.m.
Really?
Sort of. Well, I woke up at 9:30.
Yes.
Grabbed coffee.
You did?
Fed the dog. Brought Theo with me. Cleaned up the house. Threw out trash.
Okay, if you
managed the situation outside.
I gotta say, Donna and Scotty, they did a fine job on the fines here.
Don't even.
All the fine brothers and sisters, if you ever have a party with them, they will help you clean up and they'll be cleaning while you're still having a fun time and you're like, please just relax because I can't relax. But Matt always just like cleans
that's not
up.
fair to say. I will not clean up anyone else's party. If it's my house, that's a different story. Or if it's family, like your family, I'll help clean up. It's in my blood.
It is.
But I'm not going to go clean up other people. So it's not like have the fines over at your party and they'll clean your house. No, you guys will clean your own shit. We just get things done effectively, quick. I think it's because we just don't like sitting and relaxing knowing that there's a mess.
Yeah.
You know, we like to be proactive. And then once that stuff is done, I feel like we can actually relax and not have to worry about it.
That's very true. But I kind of knew that I didn't realize that you had gotten up, went outside, cleaned, did all this stuff because I think I woke up at 11 a.m. and then I figured you were just like in the bathroom taking a shower, whatever. And then you went back into bed and then took a little nap. And at 1 p.m. you're like, you know what I want for lunch? And I go, chicken and waffles.
Roscoe's.
It made me so happy hearing you say that, by the way, because Matt, if you guys don't know, never, ever, ever wants to eat anything unhealthy. You've lost a bunch of weight over the last 2 months. Everyone was saying that last night, but Matt does not like to eat unhealthy food, and I love unhealthy food. And one of my favorite things to eat is Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. If you guys are not in LA, if you guys ever come to visit, please get chicken and waffles from Roscoe's.
So bomb.
So worth it.
So good. Well, I didn't really eat real food yesterday. And
I'm sorry.
No, what do you mean? All day we were setting up, getting ready. Mm-hmm. You know, I was drinking coffee at 7 p.m. last night and here we are. I'm doing it again. Not my typical routine. But yeah, no, it was funny seeing people yesterday and they're like, you look good. You look like you lost weight. And I have lost probably like 10 pounds in the past couple months, but also it's like I haven't seen anyone or been out of the house. We've been working so much.
On the NFT project.
On the NFT, on this. Here we are. It's Saturday night, 7 p.m., grinding it out. But anyways, the party was insane. I got my first tattoo ever at 2 a.m. in the morning. We had a tattoo artist.
Yes.
Tiffany hired an event planner from Revolve. And if you guys do not know, Revolve throws the best banging parties And
Yes.
maybe you can tell people how that came about.
Yeah. I mean, last night was incredible. People were coming up to me saying, this looks like a Revolve event. And I go, that's so funny you say that because I hired the Revolve event planner. I literally stole her and was like, do you do other parties? And she's like, yes, I do. And the way this came about was because I was invited to go to the Revolve X Porsche event. And Porsche is like Matt's dream car. And it was like really cool that I got to do that. But while I was at the event, it felt like fate because I was ready to go home. They were closed at 8 p.m. The event stopped at 8 p.m. It was like 7:45 p.m. Kaylee and I, which is Matt's younger brother's girlfriend, she wanted to get permanent jewelry, which is really cool. But the line to get
What is permanent jewelry?
Oh, this ring I'm wearing right now. So if you guys are not seeing it, audio listeners, it is jewelry that you get soldered onto you. So there is no chain to take it off. So it's like pretty much stuck on forever.
That makes me feel anxious.
Really?
100%.
I
Just
can
the
see
thought
a lot of
of
people thinking that.
I feel like you get that way about the engagement ring.
I used to. Now I've gotten so used to it. The only times it frustrates me is when
Your little fingers get fat.
They get fat every morning and every night. During the day, it's completely fine. So now I know I can only, if I need to take it off, I need to take it off during the day or like really squeeze it off. Yeah. So we were in line. The wait was like an hour long. I was the last person in line with Kaylee for 35 minutes. No one else entered the line. I was like, I'm so ready to go home. I'm so tired. But then Nina, one of the girls from Revolve, who I'm really good friends with, she waited in line after me. And she was waiting in line with a girl named Sarah. And we were just talking, hitting it up. I haven't seen her in a while. And she was like, congrats on your engagement. Your ring is so beautiful. I watched your video. Like, Matt did such an incredible job. I literally cried watching it. I was like, I know Matt did such a good job. I want to do like an even better job planning an engagement party for us because I know how much work and time and effort Matt had put into my proposal. And so I was like, but I'm getting stressed out because I don't know how to throw an event. I am not a planner. Planning anything makes me super anxious. And she was like, do you need an event planner? I was like, I do. And she was like, she's an event planner. And I looked at Sarah and I go, are you for hire? And she goes, yeah, I do things outside of just Revolve. I was like, yeah, imagine getting.
Is she like allowed to do that?
I think so. It's on her own time. I've never once had a meeting with her during work hours. Every time I've had like a Zoom meeting with her, it's on the weekends or after like 7 p.m. So like, I think it's totally fine.
Yeah, probably makes sense.
I think most event planners probably do like side jobs as well. But let me tell you, this party was not cheap, but so worth it. She helped me plan everything, but it was actually my idea to do the tattoo artist because while I was at the Revolve event, I got inspired by the permanent jewelry. I was like, but the guys wouldn't do any permanent jewelry, but they would totally do a permanent tattoo. So let me find a tattoo artist that does events. And I'm so happy. We found like one of the best tattoo artists in LA to do it for the event because not a lot of tattoo artists do events, and I loved her so much. But
yeah, that was my first tattoo. So we got the ROTN icon on my wrist right here.
Yes.
We got that done at 2 a.m., which I don't regret it.
Excuse me?
I don't regret getting the tattoo and especially what it represents, but I'm like, I probably got it like too thick for being such a little one. I guess I need to see how it looks from afar, but I could just see how in the future it's going to just kind of like mush together, you know? But it's okay. It's starting my tattoo journey. And I've always wanted tattoos. Like I'm going to get a full sleeve and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this one will always be like, you know, right next, right here.
I mean, you'll always think about our engagement party every time you see it.
And you got a snake on your back.
I got a snake.
What does that mean?
I will have to show you guys some photos for those of you guys who are watching on Spotify or YouTube. You guys can check out our Instagram if you guys are listening audio only, and check out the snake that I got and check out the ROTN logo that Matt got on his hand. But what do you mean what the snake means?
I'm just kidding.
The snake means absolutely nothing.
She's a snake. No, I'm just kidding. But with this one, me, Andrew, and Gara, we all got matching ones, which I thought was, it was cute. The boys got the company tats,
bracelets.
It's like fun. And with the tattoo artist, I had no idea. I had never heard of people doing that, having a tattoo artist at an event. And so even when I was telling people didn't believe me. They didn't think that they were real tattoos. When I told my mom, when I was talking to friends, it's temporary, right? I'm like, no, this is a real tattoo. Yeah. We picked out designs, they're called flash tattoos where They were fairly quick.
Not so quick.
Yeah, depending on which one you get. But yeah. Well, I mean, so we were supposed to have her from, 7 to 11?
Yes.
And she ended up being there till 2:30 in the morning. We're getting our tattoos.
So bad, but we paid her for her time, of course.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm most excited about? The reason why I wanted to get a tattoo artist for our party was that when anyone who got a tattoo looked down on their tattoo, they thought of us and our love and our engagement party and got excited for it. And so
that's what Matt told me.
What?
That was his first tattoo. And he's like, he texted me today and he's like, every time I see it, I'm going to remember this moment, which is so
Yes.
epic because there was a handful, at least a few people that was their first tattoos.
ever.
Yeah. Wait, there was, I'm sorry to cut you off. There was 3 Matts yesterday.
Every single Matt. Wait,
that
no.
had their first tattoo.
That's right.
Me, Matt Rivas, Matt Enriquez. And those were all of our
Yes.
3 tattoos. How
Oh
funny is
my
that?
God.
Or our first tattoos.
You're right.
But it was so funny because I had no idea how it was going to go and if people were actually going to get them.
Mm-hmm.
And you were the first one to get one,
Yes.
which was an interesting time to do it. Number one.
Well, I had to get one because no one was getting it. Literally, when the party started at 7 p.m., of course, people were just trickling in until 8 p.m. And from 7 to 8, not one person was biting. And I was like, shit, did I just spend all this money on a tattoo artist? I'm paying her for her time.
Oh, you got to get the drinks flowing. But either way.
No one would have done it unless I had gotten it done.
Someone would have, but either way, it was
No.
really good that you kicked it off because ever since you got one, everyone was coming up, taking pictures, taking videos, like, holy shit, she's getting a tattoo. And from there was just a line for the entire night to get a tattoo. Over 10 people got tattoos last night, which is pretty cool. But either way, overall, the event was incredible. The backyard looked beautiful.
We hired
flowers.
a bartender.
We had a bartender. There was food catered. There was an incredible photo booth, which I'm so happy we had that. Photo booths are so underrated because we have a stack of photos that we kept taking pictures with everybody last night, and it says Matthew and Tiffany's engagement party on it, and it's so memorable. And they're going to send us like the file of all those photos, and it's just such a fun thing to do. All of our loved ones, all of our friends getting together, dressed up. You made the theme, which was black and green cocktail attire, so everyone looked good and sexy. It was like a nice vibe, and also such an epic touch. This is how I know that you were wifey material.
What?
Because not only did we have a tattoo artist, you had like a cigar bar. There was a jar of cigars. There was torches. There was everything set up, and it was very, very well put together and intentional by the fire. It was very welcoming. And you know what's funny?
What?
I thought we were going to need to get more beer.
Yeah.
And there was, how many cigars did we have in that jar?
We had almost 50 cigars in the jar.
And I thought maybe 10 people would smoke cigars. I thought we would run out of beer and go through no cigars. We almost went through all of the cigars and we didn't even get through half of the beer.
I told you this too. You're like, no, we need more beers. And I was like, babe, we literally have espresso martinis on the menu, a spicy margarita. We have a full stacked bar with a bartender that can make any drink you want. And I was like, no one's going to want beer. Literally, no one's going to want beer. No one wanted beer.
I was drinking some beer.
Yes. I actually only saw you drinking beer and maybe one other person. And that was it.
There was definitely some people drinking beer.
But it was so fun. And
it was so much fun.
I'm glad you loved it because I wanted it to be as thoughtful for you. With like the cigar bar and everything.
It was so cute.
One of my good friends, Yumin, her husband actually taught me how to smoke my first cigar. You've taught me before, but you are also a beginner at cigar smoking.
Yeah, I don't claim to be a connoisseur.
I finally figured out how to like perfectly puff in without swallowing or like breathing it in. So I figured that out. I felt so aesthetic and so cool. And like, it was just honestly such a fun time. And for any of you guys who couldn't make it, I'm so sorry, but you missed out on like the best party ever.
Yeah. I remember I smoked a whole cigar in the middle of the night and I finished it. And right when I finished it, you wanted to take pictures with cigars together, which I thought it was number one hilarious that you were smoking a cigar. It was so funny. Like, when would that happen? And it was such a funny time to do it during our engagement party. And then I had to light up another cigar after I had been smoking one for an hour and a half. And then we took pictures with it, which was funny.
I think it's really funny how like some things have a bad rep and some things have a better like connotation to it. Because I was really thinking about it because I'm really turned off by cigarettes personally. But if you think about cigars, isn't it pretty much the same thing? Both have tobacco in it. Both kind of do the same thing. Both you have to light up. Both you have to inhale. into your lungs.
So no, not necessarily.
Okay.
Cigars, you're not supposed to inhale.
Oh,
but
okay.
there is no filter, so you are actually, it's just like hookah, you're actually consuming way more tobacco and nicotine per hit versus a cigarette is filtered. However, usually I feel that the behavior of smoking a cigar is it's more on an occasion.
Yeah.
Some people do smoke cigars regularly, which is very bad as well.
Yeah.
But if cigars, that's a really aggressive habit to be having. Like doing that almost every day or always be smoking cigars, and people do it, right? I get it. I get why they would. But if you think about cigarettes, which also is a social thing people do, but for the most part, you're associating cigarettes with the everyday smoker who's smoking a pack, who's going out. That's a constant habit. That is a nasty thing to always be doing. Whereas a cigar, it's like, yeah, we can do this almost like popping champagne, celebrate, you know, so there is a difference for sure. But
you know how like there's like those sayings that are like, what is something that rich people do that poor people can't do because it seems poor when a poor person does it versus like rich when a rich person does it? Like a cigar is definitely way more expensive than a cigarette, right? But it's like, you know how like a rich person has someone else watching their kids versus a poor person has someone else watching their kids. It feels poor, but like a rich person will hire a nanny.
yeah,
right?
that's a good point.
Yeah. So it's like so
It's
interesting.
all perspective.
It is all perspective. And it is interesting that like a lot of things do have like double standards to them. But yeah, I had such a great time. Hopefully everyone else who came had such a great time.
You know what's funny too?
What?
Number one, it's crazy that we just had our engagement party.
Yes.
Like we're getting old, right?
A lot of our friends
Here we are
getting engaged now.
Yeah,
our age.
which is wild. We're like kicking it off. There's been a couple, like things are just moving
Two
forward.
of my friends got engaged this same weekend that we had our
Wow.
engagement party.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's funny because when people were coming up to us and saying, congrats, you know, and I'm thinking in my head, I go, oh yeah.
Because it's been 3 months.
Yeah, it's been 3 months. And so it's just been funny that I kind of was being thrown off when people were congratulating, giving us cards and gifts. And I was almost like, yeah, I'll take that. But, you know,
it felt, some of our friends were like, how does it feel to be engaged? And I was like, I've been engaged for 3 months. This party is happening so late just because we haven't had time with the NFT.
all the highs of the engagement are well gone.
Yes, 100%.
But
you know,
either way.
You think your life is going to change once you get that ring on your finger, baby. It goes back to normal a few months later. So if you think a ring will fix all your problems, it will not. Just FYI, it will not.
Yes. And back to the tattoo and the project, you know, if people didn't think we were committed before, that is a signal right there that we are committed to building this brand. But also in funny other NFT crypto news, Donald Trump launched an NFT project this weekend.
Did he really?
He launched an NFT project this weekend.
What?
He made an announcement about it on Wednesday, dropped the NFT on Thursday, and it actually took him until Friday to sell out.
3 days?
From what I read. No, 1 day. He made the announcement. He dropped it on Thursday. He released his NFT project on Thursday.
Yeah.
It sold out on Friday.
Wow.
But the craziest thing about it is that the artwork of the NFTs is Donald Trump as a superhero, which is so fucking hilarious, right?
I wonder how many people are buying it because they support Trump versus people who just think it's funny versus people who just are doing it because they think other Trump people are doing it. So they'll make a little bit of a bag off of it, right?
I think it's a mix probably of both. I mean, I think with every NFT project, people just want to buy something they think is going to go up in value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what's crazy about his project is he sold them for $99, whatever that is in Ethereum. And guess how many was in the collection?
I don't know. 10,000?
45,000. Which is why it took him over a day, right, to sell out.
So that's $4.5 million he just made in 1 day.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I mean, not good for him but good for him. This market is really tough to sell out in. And, you know, being a political figure and being a celebrity in a way almost kind of hurts you a little bit.
If he released this NFT project a year ago during the bull market, it would be insanely pumping. It would just be doing so insanely well. And it's crazy that it even took him a day with his with his audience and with he's like one of the biggest celebrities in the world. Love him or hate him, he holds some of the highest level of attention in people's mind.
What's crazy is that his fan base has shrunk even from last year to this year. You can just tell by the way like the media is talking about him and everything. So it's so interesting to see that he actually did sell out. But hopefully he's actually genuinely interested in NFTs, because I really do dislike it when people are into NFTs purely for the bag. And I think that's what really, differentiates us than with other projects, especially other influencer / celebrity projects. Like, I don't consider myself a celebrity or like a typical influencer in any way, but people see myself as that way. But I genuinely love NFTs.
I think, we're really bullish on blockchain technology. And I 100%. Think for us, we definitely want to get ahead of the curve because we believe in this stuff so much. And to be able to build that ecosystem and infrastructure out, even if the market is complete shit, it has so much value for the future because all these brands are going to be tapping in to blockchain technology, trying to understand the nuances of building a community. And let me tell you, there are so many nuances. If you're a brand, a celebrity, an influencer, and you're trying to get involved in NFTs, but you don't understand how they work or the communication, and you don't take the time to do it, you will be chewed up and spit out immediately. They can smell that stuff from a mile away. I just love the fact that we've taken so much time to actually build this project properly.
Yeah.
And you've done so many amazing things with this project by onboarding new people. People are so blown away with our project. They go, you guys have done things that other projects haven't been able to do, which is actually onboard new people into this space. And that is so valuable. That's what this market is doing. It's forcing projects to lead with value, making them innovate on the fly, and lean into their strongest asset, which is their community. And so it's so cool that we've been able to build and cultivate this new community around new people where this is their first time getting an NFT. And we're onboarding them. We're teaching them about new technology and blockchain. That is like the goal. We just want to keep expanding and doing that stuff. So I'm super excited connecting with these projects and meeting people. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people doing incredible stuff. There's one project we connected with this week, Coalition Crew. Such incredible people. They're doing things the right way. They've given $50,000 back to
WWF. I don't know exactly what the acronym stands for. They're just giving back. And so is Elephants. Like, Elephants is another NFT project that has given back to wildlife and saving elephants. Coalition Crew is saving cheetahs in the wild. So there are a lot of NFT projects that are actually doing cool things and not just like trying to make money. Or
it can be, but yeah.
They're just like different communities for different people is what I'm trying to get at.
And I think also the value of NFTs, as we know, is it's a way for you to buy in to a brand that you think, just like a stock, is going to increase in value. And that is your ownership of your portion. So if you believe in it, you're actually going to see the upside by owning it. And a lot of people that buy in, they want to get involved in helping to increase the value. That's what makes Web3 so cool.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much about like increasing in value though, or like the money aspect, because then everyone's just going to think about like it as a stock. It's not just a stock. There's
no, I know, but I'm just saying that is one part of it that makes it such an interesting piece, because people get the upside of owning your IP by buying an NFT.
I guess, yeah.
It's like if you were able to see Revolve in the early days and they released an NFT and you believed in their team and what their vision was doing, and you held that NFT today, that would be worth so much money.
Speaking of Revolve, I did, they're a publicly traded company. I did put some money in Revolve, lost a bunch.
Really?
Yeah. I think their stock is like at $20 now. I think I bought it in at 60. So.
I mean, the market's just
shit.
Also, what's going on in the world right now with AI technology has been insane. Not to mention all these AI filters of people looking like their superhero version of themselves, which is very cool and addicting. It makes sense why the trend.
Did you do it?
I did it, yeah.
Why haven't I seen any of the photos?
I did it last weekend and I just completely forgot about it. I didn't realize you had to pay for it. Maybe I got gypped.
What did you use? Lensa?
Yeah, and you have to pay for like the premium to do it. And it took like 20 minutes. I could show you them, yeah.
Can we show them to everyone?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, they're fake photos.
I'll put them on. But also on top of that, the other stuff that's going on with AI is incredible. It's wild. So Netflix took 3.5 years to reach 1 million users. Facebook took 10 months to reach 1 million users.
Okay.
What's it called? Chat what?
You don't even know what
What's it called?
Chat GDP.
Chat GDP got 1 million users in 5 days.
Yeah, I saw Legal Baddie said the same stuff. Like, it's incredible how fast this app has grown. I haven't played with it yet, but if you guys don't know what we're talking about, ChatGPT is an AI software. It's an app that you can use where you can ask it legit questions and it will answer and spit out complete, thoughtful essays or documents or contracts for you within seconds. So if you can say like, hey, my landlord is taking away my deposit money, how do I ask it back? In a legal term, ChatGPT can spit out a contract, but it is this really, really novel concept that I think will really take off because for me, I grew up in an immigrant family. There is such a barrier to the English language that a lot of immigrants face. And so if there is literally this app that can help you write contracts, read contracts, translate contracts, you can write essays with it, it's incredible.
Well, the coolest part is like, not to mention that element of it, which I didn't even think about, but you could say, hey, can you write me a verse about a story of a girl that I met on a train and we had lasagna,
Yes.
and it'll write you a verse. You could ask it to write you an entire movie script in a movie synopsis. It'll give you an entire script
That's
in a matter
crazy.
of seconds.
That's crazy. It's crazy because that means it's so smart that it's not just intellectual, it's creative.
Well, that's the craziest part about it, is that
Exactly.
it's compiling all this data
Yeah.
together based on human language and what's out there in the internet, in the world. And I don't know how this stuff works.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so beyond my comprehension level. But I find it so fascinating that it's able to come up with creative writing.
Yeah.
There's so much cool content that could be made with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like imagine I make some TikToks that's using Chat GDP to write a verse and
You
to
should
see.
do that.
I want to do that because I want to see what it actually gives me.
And see if any of them pop off. You know what? You should do it where you don't even tell people that Chat GDP is the reason why.
Well, now the cat's out of the bag.
Well, either way,
Yeah.
they don't know which song. You could just never say the song, but you should always film the process beforehand. And once it goes viral or like it hits, be like, Chat GDP, you know?
Chat GDP. I could be like, hey, write me a verse from Drake's perspective about Kanye West
And Kim Kardashian.
and Kim Kardashian. It could be so specific
Yeah.
and narrow. And then you could say, actually, write me the same verse, but from,
My dog's perspective.
yeah, like how ridiculous would that be?
The craziest thing is it pops it out in seconds. So imagine all this computation that's happening behind the scenes in those seconds. I think what's going to happen is that this is going to elevate everyone. Technology has always pushed people forward, and everyone has always been afraid that they're going to lose their jobs.
Well, a few things on it. So number one, from my research, it's not accurate always 100%. So
Yeah.
you can't just use this right now as like a proper outlet to write you contracts and do stuff. I think it's more of a cool creative experiment right now that's working very well, but I'm assuming it's going to take a lot of fine tuning and refining. But it's just kind of a glimpse into where we're going as a society and a race. Because if this is already happening right now, imagine this same technology progressing in 2, 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
Where will we be?
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing. And back to that point too, when Excel came out for accountants,
Yeah.
accountants thought that was going to replace their job, but it actually was just a more effective way for them to do their job. It's actually something to help them.
I studied accounting, and I can't imagine doing accounting without Excel. I still do my own budget sheets, and I still figure out all my expenses for the year, even though I also have an accountant. I just love numbers and shit. Imagine doing that without Excel. That would be insane. So I think in 5 or 10 years from now, people will be like, I'm so excited about GDP. But I think right now, also at the same time, people are really freaked out about it. But the craziest thing is I don't know what our students and professors and teachers going to do. Because I remember having to write those essays, and then I remember putting those same essays through software where it'll say, this has been, what's it called when you stole work?
Plagiarized?
Yeah. You'll run it through a software, and then the software will say, this paper is plagiarized by 40%, right? But with this AI software, everything is brand new because you're asking this software to generate a a topic based on kind of the advanced levels you need. And then you can probably even fine tune it even more, being like, can you write me a paper about The Great Gatsby at a college level? But you're like, actually, I'm not that smart yet. So maybe at like a junior high level, right? Or you can be like, from a perspective of a girl who grew up as an immigrant.
So I think there's a couple points on this that, number one, it's interesting when something like this comes out in the world, even whether it be NFTs and blockchain, or whether it be when the radio, was discovered, or even when street lamps were put up for the first time, people were protesting and terrified that there was lights hung up in the streets. So I think, historically speaking, as a race, we are always terrified of innovation in something new that's uncomfortable, that's advancing in pushing the human race forward.
Yes.
And it's so interesting in a situation right now. I encourage people to just be open with it because, number one, you're not going to stop these things from happening. No matter if you're against it or if you think that it's going to ruin mankind, well, mankind has created it. So unfortunately, this is a product of us. And maybe we need this. Maybe we need this because you're talking about writing papers and stuff in school. Maybe this is going to push education even forward, and we're going to be thinking about education in a different way where maybe it's not writing papers. Do we need to write papers?
No.
We need to write papers based on based on the curriculum, but we all agree that the curriculum in school needs to change. It's so outdated. It's one of the slowest moving things in the entire United States, and it's arguably the most important thing that we have not innovated or progressed much in. And so I think that I wonder what's going to happen with education. Okay, maybe you're not writing the paper, but maybe now we need to find even more advanced ways to stimulate your mind in up-level you for the jobs that exist in today's day and age. Because is it writing papers?
Instead of doing busy work, we need to elevate critical thinking skills because I think a lot of people lack that in the world. I'm not going to lie. And sometimes I find myself lacking critical thinking skills sometimes because I am very gullible. And if I just thought about it for a second, I wouldn't believe half the shit I believe. But it's interesting because we're both so heavily into NFTs, seeing everyone scared of NFTs and Web3 in general, and then now seeing new technology coming out at the same time, blockchain technology is coming out as well, and people being scared of it. It's just like, oh yeah, like, this is kind of why people feel this way about blockchain. They're like scared about the future, but it's only going to help our future.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that it isn't terrifying. It is.
It's terrifying.
It's scary because you can kind of quickly see how this could take over and how quickly this could change, and whether it be eradicate human beings or replace them partially. And that's the idea that we've always toyed with, which is becoming these alien-esque creatures that are like programmed and very AI based.
Isn't that what Elon Musk is doing?
With the Neuralink thing?
Yes.
Do you know exactly what Neuralink is?
Okay, so Neuralink is building a brain chip interface that can be implanted within the skull, which it says could eventually help disabled patients to move and communicate again and also restore vision, which is very cool. So I think it's helping, your brain cells and your synapses communicate with one another better for those people who have some sort of catastrophe that happens in their lives, which is very cool.
Yeah, and I think also I've heard some of the goals is that we're going to be able to communicate or type without actually typing. It's more of our thoughts being able to almost compute and output what we're thinking, which would be incredibly wild. But you know what's crazy?
Also kind of scary.
Very scary. But again, more effective, more efficient. Who knows? Where are we going as a race? As a society? Who knows? So when I knew we were having this episode today, we were going to film, these are some of the things I wanted to talk about. And it was so ironic because I saw a reel or a piece of content by will.i.am from Black Eyed Peas, and he made a very interesting theory about Elon Musk, which was, Elon Musk bought Twitter. And at first everyone's like, cool, interesting. Not really sure. We'll see what he does with it. If he uses it for good, that's a good thing. But will.i.am was saying he also owns Neuralink. And if you think about what Neuralink is and what it does, which we've just talked about, it's going to need a data pool of communication that it could start to develop its AI. And what's a bigger data pool than Twitter? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like a scary thought right there. In the event that the worst case scenario plays out. And Elon Musk wants to control society and develops this Neuralink chip that's based off of all of the communication that we've put on Twitter as a society. Like, that's kind of a crazy thing to have that much power, because now one of the biggest socially relevant platforms is owned by this genius.
I wouldn't call him a genius. Did you see that he actually didn't even go to the school he said he went to? It was all fake papers.
I would definitely call him a genius.
He actually never started any of the companies he's ran. He didn't start Tesla.
But he's a genius because he made, like, even if he didn't do it, he made people think that he did.
I guess.
And I know that he did.
Well, just like the same way Trump is a genius.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
Not like actually a genius.
No, but I think Elon Musk is actually a genius. I think it's crazy to say that he's not, but that's just my opinion.
Like, are you talking about intellectually? Like,
intellectually,
IQ
yeah.
Like,
I don't know about the actual number of his IQ, but I would say that Elon Musk to me seems like a modern day Tony Stark genius.
I think you're
come
putting
in, save
too
the
much
world.
of a hero, aspect to him. I don't think he's a hero.
I think that he has hero qualities more than anyone, which is funny. I think
he's kind of hypocritical, actually.
No, he is, and I want to talk about that. But up until recently, Elon Musk, to me, has been this Tony Stark figure. Ukraine calls, and they say, Elon Musk, we have no internet. And he goes, activating Starlink. The next day, he activates Starlink and internet in Ukraine during a war. That is some pretty heroic shit right there, if you're asking me.
Well, it's funny you say that about the Ukraine thing, because Elon Musk wanted to put the bill on the U.S. government.
No, I know. That's why he turned it off. He's like, wait, they're not going to.
So is he really? He was going to make money off of it.
Yeah, but to have the ability to go and turn on internet somewhere around the world like that just goes to show the amount of power in. It is a heroic.
Everything he does is for his own bags. Let's be real here. And actually, I did look up his IQ. He does have an IQ of 155, so he is intellectually a genius. I was wrong.
If you just look across the board, he's one of the first people to have a company go into space and be contracted by NASA. So he's going into space. He's built this company, Tesla, which has completely innovated the automobile industry and made electric cars cool. He can turn on internet in different parts of the world. And now to me, that's
you sound like you're drinking his Kool-Aid.
No, but I'm just...
I don't think I like anyone that much as you love Elon, it feels like.
I'm just saying from the outside, it is very cool what he has done.
Yeah.
But I will say
I've also seen the Teslas that look like absolute garbage. I've also seen, the hypocritical things that he says on the internet. I've seen him ban accounts that he said he's never going to ban. So just I don't know if I truly believe him. I think everything he does is for PR, which, every single person that is on the internet that is a celebrity does stuff for PR. So the Starlink shit, he did that for the PR, for everyone to say, oh my God, he's a hero.
I personally don't know what his intentions are, but I do think at the end of the day, if you just look at someone's output and you look at it and you go, is it net positive or is it net negative? And I think it's net
positive.
Super positive, even from the fact of what he's done to reduce emissions in the air from gas by making electric cars super cool and sexy. Granted, yeah, some of them maybe aren't the best looking, but overall, no one built an electric car that looked that sexy. But I will say on that note, as of recently, he has kind of been in this interesting place where I'm starting to be like, what is going on with this guy? Because he has been such a free speech advocate with Twitter. And I personally think the things that are going on with Twitter, it's a shit show. He went out and said free speech for all. And now all of a sudden he's starting to ban accounts that are writing articles about him.
Yeah. He's a hypocrite.
To me,
Don't worry. I used to drink the Elon Musk Kool-Aid as well, but I figured very quickly over the last 6 months that a lot of the things he says and does is just a little odd.
I mean, the guy is just so weird, but I think he's cool. But this stuff with Twitter is pissing me off. That stuff is really just bothering me, because to literally be the guy that says free speech and everyone's like, cool, what's going to happen with Twitter? And then all of a sudden he starts banning these accounts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say other than he's definitely showing signs of being a hypocrite.
Yeah, I hate to see it.
Yeah, it sucks. Don't worry. I was drinking that Kool-Aid too. Like 6
We all
months
got
ago.
a little devil in us. This devil is showing.
We all have a little devil in us all. But I think it's really cool that you guys got matching tattoos. That's crazy. It'll be a cool first story ever. Yeah, because my first story of my tattoo ever just is actually, I guess, a cool story, but sucks because I was 15, turning 16 in literally a day when my sister was like, tomorrow, when you turn 16, you want to get a tattoo at my friend's house? And I go, sure, because I am literally the stupidest 15-year-old ever. And on my 16th birthday, I just followed my sister blindly into someone's garage, her friend's garage, where he illegally tattooed people.
Sketchy.
Very sketchy. And the story behind my tattoo is cool and it's very sweet, but I absolutely hate it. He did a terrible job. I got a tattoo of my last name. My last name is Ma, which means horse in Chinese. And so me and my sisters, we all wanted to get a horse tattoo on ourselves in the Chinese symbol because my dad really wanted a boy in the family. And instead of getting a boy, he got 3 girls and then divorced my mom and then tried again and had 2 more girls. So that man just never got a boy in his life.
Maybe maybe he's just bad karma. I don't know.
Bad karma, I'm sure. And so we all got matching tattoos to kind of keep the name in the family. And I think it's another interesting conversation to have about like changing last names for the modern day society and modern day women. And I know it's a conversation we have a lot about changing last names. But yeah, so I got it. And it was supposed to be a tattoo that's completely filled in. I'll show a photo to everyone who is watching on video. It is not filled in because this tattoo artist had the heaviest hand ever. I thought I was going to faint and die. So I asked him to stop before he started shading. And it was a $20 tattoo.
Well, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, I got what I paid for. And it just looks like absolute garbage.
What did Sasha say last night, the tattoo artist? She said,
oh, she was saying, you know how there is a whole trend of getting 1 year long tattoos? They disappear after a year. She said, do not ever get those because after a year, they're shady. It's not even black ink it's using dark gray ink. And it doesn't completely disappear after a year. It just gets splotchy after a year. So It just becomes intelligible. And after like a few months, it starts disappearing. And it doesn't disappear all at the same time. So it's like one part is missing. Imagine if it was like a rose.
That's what people thought they were last night. And I'm like, no. Sorry, these are real.
So many people were like,
we're not fucking
tattoos.
around.
I was like, no.
Permanent.
Real tattoos.
Permanent. This is random, but one of your favorite movies of all time.
Yes. Which one?
Avatar. The second one is finally out.
It's coming out.
We got to see it this week.
Are we going to see it?
Yeah. And I actually read an article saying they underperformed in their opening day. And I think they're going to like underperform in the weekend or something.
Really?
Yeah. They spent like $400 million on it. And James Cameron has been working on it. I think for 10 years. For 10 years. I mean, I think the original one came out in 2008. I was so surprised that this one came out because I didn't even know. I feel like, did they not do a good job marketing this movie? Because I didn't see anything online really that was like getting me to go pay attention to the fact that it was coming out, building up hype.
Yeah.
The marketing campaign was super weak because it didn't really make it into my atmosphere, you know?
It didn't make it into my circle either. I genuinely, when they started talking about it, I was like, oh, I guess they're finally doing the marketing. It's going to come out in like a few months. No, it was like next week it's coming out. And I'm like, I haven't heard anyone talking about it. Like Zoe Saldana, I love her as an actress. I don't even know if she's in the movie. Like I literally don't know anything about this movie.
Me too.
And all they talk about in all their marketing materials is this is the greatest CGI underwater scenes you'll ever see. And I'm like, that does not make me want to go see a movie. Like maybe, but I want to be rushing to go see it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's my whole thing too. It's like I didn't know the date.
Yeah.
Normally with a good marketing.
Yeah, what date did it come out?
I don't know. And I don't even know what the story is about. Normally with a good marketing campaign, you're left with questions in your head about what's going to happen. What's in the story? What's the cliffhanger? But not only did I have no idea what the storyline is. I had no idea what the date was. And I have I aside from what you just said, all they did was market in the past week about the CGI. But again,
I don't give a shit.
No, I do care, but that's not enough, like you said, to make me go in rush. But they could have told this story as far as from a marketing standpoint to really make me be like, oh shit, Tiffany, we got to go see Avatar next week. It's coming out.
I'm so happy you're saying this because I actually I looked up the trailer And then 24 hours later, I looked it up again because I completely forgot I watched it because the trailer was so underwhelming to me, because the trailer is just a lot of beautiful scenes that I forgot I even had watched the trailer. And the only person I think that's any director that can do that is Jordan Peele. He's the only director that I will watch his movies not knowing the storyline because I just know it's going to be a great movie. But like, I feel like Avatar, I need to know what the storyline is because
I'm going to challenge you on that.
Really?
But because Jordan Peele, he's only put out 3 movies.
Exactly.
Number 1. Number 2, James Cameron is one of the most iconic producers and directors of all time.
But even Avatar had a storyline when they put out a trailer.
But didn't that do enough of a job to say, hey, you're going to want to see the second one? Because I know you're going to want to see the second one. You don't even need to watch the trailer to go see number 2. That's how good number 1 was, and a testament
But it didn't make you want to go see it.
No, I want to see it, but what I'm saying is, regardless, we're going to see Avatar 2 in theaters.
Yes.
That's point blank. And that's a testament
But
to
just
James
not rushing
Cameron.
to see it.
Exactly. That's the difference. And that's why I think they're having a lower turnout in the movie theater, because maybe they got lazy with the marketing and they're like, hey, we've been talking about this for 10 years. It's finally out. Just go see it. The CGI is great. And people will see it eventually, but
no one's rushing to it.
No one's rushing to it.
No one's talking about it on social media either.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of our friends will be like, oh, I just watched this movie. It's so good. Go see it. But I haven't heard anyone saying that about Avatar.
No one knew it was out.
No one knew it was out.
All I've heard is CGI and the runtime is 3.5 hours.
Holy, that's a commitment. During the holiday season, that's a commitment. We don't got time for that.
I think people do. That's when families go to the movies.
I'm talking about us personally. We have no time. We will still do it on Thursday because I know that's the day you wanted to do it. But like, if you actually think about sitting for 3.5 hours,
I can't sit still.
That's a long time. And not only that, if you guys are a viewer or a listener that has watched it or is planning on watching it, or you don't even care about it, let us know. Did you like the movie? Did you not like the movie? Are you not going to see it? Are you going to see it? Because maybe we're like the only ones that are like, it's so out of our brains just because we're so busy. But maybe it's been like, everyone's like, I've seen a million marketing materials for it and I'm so excited for it.
I would say but I'm going to say the fact that our friends or no one I know has told me about it or said, yo, we got to see Avatar. That is also right there. It goes to show about the marketing. Because you know how word of mouth is so powerful with when you see an incredible movie or you hear about it or you see a dope trailer,
that was
you
like
go
everything everywhere all at once.
Oh yeah, we told so many people. But even if they had a really good trailer or whatever, I'm not saying the trailer's bad, but no one said, yo, did you see the new trailer for Avatar?
No.
And even with Dune, remember, we loved that movie. We were so gassed up when we saw the trailer. We told so many people, our friends, we shared that information.
We actually watched the movie with Lauren and Jeremy too, which was really cute.
They did not like it as much as us, but
I
that movie's mind-blowing to me. That's like one of my all-time favorites, I feel like.
All-time favorites that I watched recently in like the last few years, for sure.
So good.
But Avatar was like one of my favorites. I think I saw it twice in movie theaters.
Really?
Yeah, so I am excited to see it. I just have no rush to see it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but let us know what your thoughts are if you guys have seen the movie or if you haven't. Or if you've seen the trailer, let us know what your thoughts are on the trailer. Maybe we're just completely wrong. And we're just like so like out of the loop with everything. But I think
I'm going to say no. I think we're pretty tapped in. I mean, we're talking about chat. What's
GDP.
it? Chat GDP and,
Guys, go download ChatGPT. I'm going to go download it. I haven't even downloaded it yet, but I do definitely want to check it out. I'm going to put in trademark lawyer, because we paid our trademark lawyer like $7,000.
What's something funny we can experiment with and then make some content about it?
For the podcast?
Yeah.
I think maybe we should ask it, what are current news events that people are like really interested in learning? Like, I don't know.
What if we ask it
to come up with our podcast?
This is our podcast
episodes.
Hey, our podcast is about our business, being in a relationship, our lifestyle, current events. This is what we've done so far. Can you write a script and outline things that would be great topics for episode 7?
How fun. Also, when we have guests on the show, we actually have a couple of guests lined up that we're excited to have on. We can ask it, what are some really interesting questions to ask, like this career, like a plastic surgeon or like whoever we're going to have on, Well, that is pretty much it with today's episode 6. Our good friends Mickey and Kevin are coming over right now, so we got to end a little bit early. But I think this was a great episode. So yeah, if you guys haven't yet, make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe if you guys are listening to the podcast. If you're on Spotify or Apple or wherever you're listening, please give us those 5 stars, baby. And then if you are on YouTube, subscribe to us and subscribe if you're on Spotify as well and Apple. We're here every single Tuesday. Shark is being so damn cute on Matt right now. She's just laying on him. She really needs some love after last night.
She's so needy. Yeah, I don't know what's up with her. But anyways, yes, thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for episode 7. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I know you want to do it so bad.
Bye.